Hello, welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today we're going to avoid learning incorrect English, so let's get started. First, this is not correct.
So there are two ways to pronounce it. The first way is with two syllables, mirror, mirror. And the second way is when you speak really fast. You say mirror, mirror. In the United States, people normally pronounce this word mirror, mirror. This mirror costs $299.
This is also not correct.
And what is this part of the car called? This is called a side mirror, and a side mirror is necessary if you are looking to your left or right to see if a car is in your lane, because if you want to turn to the left side, you use this side mirror to see if...
The word is not pronounced mirror, mirror. I have to pronounce it with two syllables. Mirror, mirror. So don't pronounce it with one syllable, mirror, like beer and fear. Pronounce it with two syllables. Mirror, mirror.
All right, what about mirror? Mirror. But our first syllable, we start with the M consonant, lips together, and move into me. Do you hear that? Green T-E vowel. Mirror, mirror. Into the purple shirt. This again is a moving vowel. Our stressed vowel in this syllable has two parts. Mirror, mirror. And then same thing as the end of terror. We hold that and do an unstressed, quick sound. Mirror, 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 mirror. All right?
Here's the rear view mirror.
Rear view mirror. Rear view mirror.
Actually, the person who's going to give us the most trouble often is the person we're looking at in the mirror.
Where you just hold up the mirror and allow people to look at themselves.
Maybe even if we just look in the mirror, there might be ways we think.
And I also would submit that sometimes our thinking has been in the rearview mirror.
I'm driving down the road and I look in my mirror and there's a car right on my bumper.
And what I realized is sort of looking through the rearview mirror.
See the ways that food is a really powerful mirror for who we are on a much deeper level.
A really true good friend will mirror and match that excitement with you.
But it's not necessarily doing anything, but then it turns out the mirror is pointing where they actually
are. We ourselves are the truest mirror of ourselves. If we actually are fair and we actually look.
Another project that's going to be coming out soon is there's this show Black Mirror.
One of my favorites.
Yes, so good.
I love Black Mirror.
So good.
And you can put a mirror right in here and make a fold, and so it'll fold onto itself.
So, look in the mirror, start the conversation. Those are things that we all can do.
And the applause, and I sit at my dressing room station, and I look in the mirror.
Create a world order that's really a mirror image of ourselves.
Your organization is a direct mirror of its leadership team.
Such as looking at themselves in the mirror and noticing a mark on their nose.
But Facebook's response that it is just a mirror to society.
When I was a few years old, I was playing in front of a mirror in an old apartment.
So the best way to do it is to get like a dry erase marker, stand in front of a mirror, tie your hair completely back.
Being able to look in the mirror with self-respect instead of seeing a reflection of someone we are pretending to be.
And most important to all of this, take a look in the mirror. How are you interacting in relationship?
The final fidelity of our roadmap should mirror what we want to achieve and who will see it.
A human body is comprised of 50 trillion cells. When we look at ourselves in the mirror and say there's a single entity, no, that's an illusion.
Okay, so now we're gonna build the mirror.
Hooray!
So if you want to put...
Maybe like take off all your clothes, look in the mirror and say, that's what it is. That's my life. That's the direction I've taken myself.
For what I call windows and mirrors. When you read something and you find a mirror in it, it's this feeling of being seen, of seeing some part of yourself reflected back to you.
This graph almost looks like the mirror image of that one.
To more closely mirror the diversity that they bring to the table.
Now, I saw over 22,000 uses of mirror on Youglish.
And these two words, mirror, the first word is mirror, it's one syllable. And the second word is mirror, it's two syllables. You can make it more pronounced and say mirror, or you can say it fast and say mirror, but it's still two syllables. The first word, mirror. The second word, mirror. Do you hear the difference? I'll say it again. The first word is mirror. The second word is mirror. The second one has 2 syllables, no matter how fast you say it. Example, the mirror is clearer after you clean it. Again, the mirror is clear after you clean it. I cannot say the mirror is clear. The mirror is clear. We have to use 2 syllables for these words. The mirror is clearer after you clean it. Let's practice. Is the mirror clear after you clean it? That's right. The mirror is clearer after you clean it. So we compared these 2 words. Mirror, 1 syllable, and mirror, 2 syllables. What is the first word? Mirror. It's an adjective. It means small, simple, nothing more, similar to only. For example, I am not a god. I don't have superpowers. I am a mere human. I am a mere mortal. Let's hear some examples with mirror.
Mere child's play compared to what surely awaited me.
But lucky for you mere mortals, I use my powers for good.
Or are we, in fact, more than the mere sum of our memories?
The part-time bartender remains a long shot to make the team, but the mere fact that he's still around, well, that's amazing in itself.
In his most private moments, he spoke of his fear of death, which he elevated to tragic heights, when in fact it was mere narcissism.
Okay, question. If these things are so feared, so powerful, why do they require mere mortals to protect them?
I don't need to tell you that the mere fact that it's humanoid is extraordinary.
And you brought forth David, a mere boy.
You may be very competent, but the mere fact that you know this girl compromises your judgment.
You are living proof that there are superheroes living amongst us mere mortals.
I see your talents have gone beyond the mere physical level.
And some far beyond the imagining of mere mortals.
Why, sir, do you not know that for a mere 25 cents more you could purchase a large beverage?
And when you use mere and you talk about numbers, we use the article a. We heard the example, for a mere 25 cents, you could order a large soda, a large beverage. 25 cents is plural. Why do we say a? Before mere, we say a mere 25 cents. So for a mere 25 cents more, you can buy a large soda. You can buy a large drink. Let's practice. So for a mere 25 cents more, can you buy a large soda? That's right. For a mere 25 cents more, you can buy a large soda. Let's practice. Are you a god? Do you have superpowers, or are you a mere mortal? That's right. I'm a mere mortal. Let's compare these 2 words, clear and clearer. Clear is 1 syllable and clearer is 2 syllables. And it doesn't matter how fast I say it, it's still 2 syllables. The first word, clear. The second word, clearer. Let's hear some examples of the word clearer. The second one.
You can sit and listen, but know that talking about it is what helps you gain a clearer sense of what you're dealing with.
The intent here is to gain a clear perception of humanity.
I can't make myself any clearer.
Things are clearer up here.
No, before you say it, I know it's undergone a lot of changes, but God has spoken through man to make his word clearer.
It can't get any more clear than this.
I woke up feeling clearer than I ever have in my entire life.
And tomorrow can be clearer than yesterday.
I know one thing clearer than I've ever known anything in my entire life, except that I loved Terry before you killed her. And that is that you're gonna die.
Can I possibly make myself any clearer than that?
Let's compare some more words. The first word is bear. It's 1 syllable. And the second word is bearer. Bearer. You have 2 syllables, no matter how fast you say it. So we know the animal bear. But what about bearer? Well, the word bear can be a verb too. Bear is a verb meaning to bring or to give. So a bearer is someone who brings, someone who gives. Example, this is a ring bearer. The person that brings the ring at the wedding. It's usually a child. He's the ring bearer. Not the ring bearer, but the ring bearer. 2 syllables. Let's hear some examples of ring bearer.
Well, what do you mean the ring bearer? Oh, your daddy didn't tell you?
You?
Okay, you're going to fill in as the ring bearer for now.
So promise me that you won't have a ring bearer or a flower girl, because those kids always just misbehave and then they distract from the bride.
Let's practice. Is he the ring bearer? That's right, he's the ring bearer. And we also have this expression, the bearer of bad news. The bearer of bad news is the person who brings the bad news. That's the bearer. That's the person. So people say, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but, and then they give you the bad news. Let's hear some examples of the bearer of bad news. Not the bear, but the bearer.
I hate being the bearer of bad news, but that ethnic fellow over there is pulling a Frito Bandito number on you.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're chasing your ass.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're right.
First of all, it is horrible all the time, and second of all, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but Burger Shack, they bought this location about 4 years ago.
It is not often that I am the bearer of bad news, but when I am, I insist upon delivering it myself.
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it usually takes days to get the tree up properly.
So, example, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be the person who gives bad news. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. Not the bear, but the bearer. Let's practice. Do you want to be the bearer of bad news? That's right. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news either. Now let's compare these two words. Tear. The first word is tear. And the second word is terror. Terror or terror if you say it fast. But it's still two syllables. The first word, tear. The second word, terror. Two syllables for the second word.
They had to tear it down. It was condemned.
Tear it up.
No.
I bought this place thinking one day I would tear it down.
Sir, the Hulk will tear this place apart.
You want to tear all that down?
No. He told me to tear it up and throw it away.
Those who are not washed away will race through the streets in terror.
The terror that settled over Germany.
She lived in terror.
The terror of judge advocates, the massive legal brain.
We want all those who are guilty to experience the terror of their crimes.
Ice, the terror of captains and crews of the late fall runs, had made her a shapeless mass.
We're going to go with the story, because the terror is right here in this room.
So we know tear is a verb. It means to rip. Tear the paper. Tear in the present. Tore in the past. Somebody tore the paper. And torn is the participle. Someone has torn the paper, and I can use torn as an adjective. The paper is torn. Let's practice with tear. Can you tear the paper? That's right, you can tear the paper. Let's practice in the past. Did somebody tear the paper? That's right, somebody tore the paper. And I can describe the paper using the adjective torn. Is the paper torn? That's right, the paper is torn. So the first word is tear. The second word is terror. Two syllables. Example, terrorists use terror. That's what they do. They use terror. Let's practice. Do terrorists use terror? That's right. Terrorists use terror. That's why they call them terrorists. Let's compare these two words. Air. The first word is air. The second word is error. Error. You can say error, or you can say it fast. Error. Error. It's still two syllables. I like to breathe the fresh air. That's air, the first word. And error is a mistake.
Haven't either of you ever made an error in judgment before?
There's no possibility of error in my analysis.
Well, it's obviously an error in judgment on your part then, wasn't it?
President Johnson is making a tragic error in Vietnam.
Made an error in judgment.
The engineer, they say, made an error in controlling the train.
There's a subtraction error in there, and that last step is wrong.
The Bible says, men committed shameless acts with men and received in their own persons the due penalty for their error.
I've made a critical error on my Airbnb reservation.
Sometimes on my computer it says error, and it gives a number. My computer made a mistake. It's just not working right, but they call it an error. The computer made an error. Or I get an error screen on my computer. Pronunciation, error. Error screen. When I get an error screen on my computer, I usually restart it. Let's practice. When you get an error screen on your computer, what do? Do you restart it? That's right. When I get an error screen on my computer, I restart it. An error screen, not an air screen, an error screen. There are 2 syllables. Now let's talk about these 2 words. The first word is a bad word for a prostitute, so we're not going to practice that one. Whore. No. Horror. 2 syllables. Horror movies. Not horror movies. That sounds horrible. They're not movies about prostitutes. They're scary movies. Horror movies. Use 2 syllables for the second word.
And if you don't, I'll give you the horror show.
And yet you're here at the ultimate horror movie experience.
How many women have you showed a B horror movie to on like a 3rd date?
This is not a B horror movie.
You want to see a real horror show? See my garage.
So this is the ultimate horror movie experience.
Horror movie night. Bela Lugosi, the original Dracula.
Hey, so any of you guys going to that horror show on Saturday?
I don't like horror movies. Do you like horror movies? Very good. Thank you for practicing with me. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to become a member, click the join button. And we'll see you next time.